It's bad. Anime.
Great.
No, not great. You said great before we started. Like, no, this is not great. What the fuck are you talking about? Oh, God. We're recording. We're recording, aren't we?
Yeah, we are.
No shit.
Hi, I'm John.
I'm Rob.
And this is Bad Anime, the podcast where we decide,
Is this anime bad?
Well, it is illegal. At the very least.
That's the thing. Laws are very weird in other parts of the world when it comes to this kind of stuff because you've got trolled and I let it happen. This is partially on me.
I did get trolled.
Because that's what today's anime was. Because Bouncy, in the early 2000s,
okay,
early to let's say mid to late 2000s, like
okay,
in the 20 like pre 2010,
yes,
when anime was still a very niche thing and it was hard to get.
Yes, true.
You know,
true.
Crunchyroll wasn't readily available.
DVDs at FYE was the best access you could get to it at the time.
And even then, like, you know, for a lot of kids growing up, they didn't have the money.
Right.
So you had to go online for stuff, and of course, go to the chat boards. You know, hey, what should I watch? Everybody.
Right.
So somehow. The popular troll response became Boku no Pico.
Oh, God.
And you were talking to me about shows you want to do for the podcast, and you were like, "Hey, Rob, I'm thinking next let's try to tackle this thing called Boku no Pico." And my entire body tensed up, and I'm like, I actually haven't seen it. You know what? Like, maybe it's not gonna be horrific.
But you knew exactly what it was, kind of, right? Did you have an idea of what it was before
Very
you
much
watched
so,
it?
yes.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I knew some of the scenes even.
Really?
Some of the details I didn't know, and some of the
Okay.
details now that I saw these fucking OVAs are even grosser now because I know the details.
Oh, God. Well, I mean...
A kid gets molested. That's the first episode.
That is the entire first episode. You're right.
You got a beer?
Would you like a beer?
Yes, please. Wow.
Literally
That was almost... That was almost in perfect sync.
So, to take us off topic for a second,
It could be more than a second.
we're in once more. We are in our echo chamber of a studio.
Yes, a good old conference room headquarters.
There's a printer right over there. It's really cool.
Oh yeah, so we can print out pictures of our dicks.
And of course, I brought. Oh, excuse me. of course, I brought a bag of beer and
A
stuff.
bag of goodies. There's a not in the same building, but in like the building two or three buildings away. There was a brewery in the basement, so we just like had a nice little lunch there. Mine was okay.
Yeah, mine was also okay.
But the beer was really good.
The beer was good. The food was okay, which I could deal with. But
the thing is, like, there's like so many other restaurants right by there, so we can always in the future before we record, we can just go, you know, get some food somewhere else, and then like grab 2 or 3 pints, and go up here and talk about fucking Boku no Pico.
Yeah. Speaking of that beer, let's have a beer. Let's have a beer.
Yes. And okay. So
here's a bag.
So here's the gimmick right now, ladies and gentlemen. Bouncy just brought up a bag full of goodies. I have no idea what's in it.
I have a mini fridge in my place. We have a small bar in my apartment.
Yes.
There's a mini fridge under it. And it just keeps accumulating things over the time. Either I buy them or people come to visit and they drop them off.
And they bring stuff, yeah.
And, you know, I just accumulate all this stuff. So in the meantime, while I'm accumulating this stuff, I'm like, all right, well, I got to put it to use. So I filled this random bag with all of this stuff. So let's see what you get. You want to dig in there? See what you find?
Okay, I can see one beer already, so I'm going to look away from the bag until I grab beers. There's a lot of tall boys in here.
There's a lot of tall boys.
Jesus Christ, let's see what we get first.
Yeah.
Oh, first we got, not a tall boy.
Wow.
Actually, a Montauk Summer.
Kind of nice.
Montauk Summer Ale from Montauk Brewing Company. We're out here on Long Island. Well, we're not on Long Island right now, but
yeah, we are from there.
We were born and raised there, so I'm going to chug this and think about happier days before I saw Boku no Pico.
Ooh.
What do you get?
June Shine. Hard kombucha.
Oh, God. Hard.
Who brought this?
Wait, what's the percentage on that, Bouncy?
It's 6%.
Okay, not bad.
That's actually pretty good. I was expecting more like 3 for kombucha, because kombucha is technically already hard, like myself.
Yeah.
But
why are you hard right now? That makes me ask so many more questions.
But I feel like kombucha is usually already hard a little bit, but 0.0, like half-z hard, you know?
Yeah.
You know?
You half-mast.
Like, yeah, right. And this is like a full mast kombucha, I guess. So
I guess you're gonna put up that sail and let the winds take you to your final destination, sailor.
Yeah. And my final destination is watching Boku no Pico, unfortunately, for today.
Oh God. Open the can, please.
Cheers.
Cheers. I already opened mine. That's
So
the
I
first time we ever had someone fail to open a can.
I just cut my nails yesterday, and they're really, really small.
Yeah,
so
I just did the same thing. I only got one nail left, and that's for my guitar. That's my because I got a deformed first finger. So
that's right. You have the
I got a little
meep.
I got a little double jointed finger action, so I need to keep the nail kind of long, so
Yep.
like it makes it sturdy to hold a guitar pick. Because of course my right hand it has a slightly deformed pointer, which I need as a guitar player. I picked up a guitar for some reason. Cheers.
Cheers.
Anywho, bokunopico.
Bokunopico. Well,
So I knew about this going in.
Okay, you knew about
all I knew was boys fucking.
okay. So
But the thing is,
I came a bit late to that party,
Yeah.
actually.
Really?
I came pretty late to that party. And we're talking like most of the way through the first episode late to that party.
The site you found it on was called like Hentai Haven.
Well, sure. I mean, that's fine. I mean, I wasn't the fucking so much as the boy.
Well, yeah. That's
If you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, that was the problem because
So right. Well, at least let me just talk about this real quick because I thought we were given this anime in a couple different reels that we put on Instagram and TikTok and stuff. We got a couple of comments that were like, "Oh, you think that's bad? You should see Boku no Pico."
Yeah.
Probably referencing Redo of Healer.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Okay, well, we will.
Yeah.
Then let's do it." So we watched the animes that we got recommended were Akame ga Kill, which we just did, and then
still confused why that's thrown in this bunch.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
But then we got Boku no Pico, and I was like, fine.
That one I understood.
We'll do Boku no Pico.
Kind
And of course, the first instinct I got was I was like, okay, let's look this up. Where to find it online? Huh? Not on Crunchyroll. Okay, that's weird. Let's look in Google. So I Googled it, and it was all hentai sites. And the site that I sent you that it was on, I was like, well, first off, I texted you. I was like, I'm watching the first episode of Boku no Pico. Kill me now. And then you said, oh, great. Where can I find it? And I sent you a porn website.
Yes.
And you were like, yep.
Well, because like I tried to find it in like with a very cursory Google search. I'm like, all right, I'm already frustrated. Bouncy will find it and tell me where I can watch this fucking thing.
And I watched it, and the whole first episode, I thought the main character was a girl.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, for a lot of the time.
Really?
I thought I thought she was just like a young girl.
Really? Because
Yes.
I remember one point they showed her without her shirt on, and like
Yeah, but I don't know. I thought she was like 12 or 11 or something. So
I got you.
I can't believe we're saying these things.
No,
But
yeah.
I was like, okay, this is strange. But it's clearly because he, I guess, works at a cafe and dresses as a maid. So I'm like, why would it be a boy?
Okay.
Right?
But
it has a dad that works at the cafe.
well, grandpa.
That lets him dress up like a maid, so it must be a girl. I'm like, why would the
grandpa did very explicitly say grandson though? That's the thing.
He did.
He did, yeah.
I must have missed that.
Yeah, you must have been blinded by. Were you blinded by PICO, just like the pedophile? No, sorry, the other lead's name.
Yeah, you could say it. You could say it.
Yeah.
You could say pedophile, businessman, who is just in town, right? For like I don't know what he's there for.
Well, it appears like he's a regular at this fucking little hole in the wall bar.
Right.
That's like kind of the impression I get because the grandpa very much knew who he was, and it's like, oh, this is my young grandson. Show him around town.
Yeah, right.
And because a scene or two before that, and by the way, for the first episode at least,
Okay.
it looks like shit. Like really bad.
Horrible. The animation was pretty bad, yeah.
And any scene that didn't involve a young boy's cock, the show looked terrible.
Yes, which you really knew what they blew the budget on.
You are so proud of yourself.
I'm very proud of myself. Because I was gonna say that unironically, and then I thought about it, and I was like, you know what? We can spin this.
Yeah.
We can.
we can take this and go for a little ride, sailor. Just hop on top of me and let me sail. Wait a minute. Oh.
And they did a lot of sailing in this show.
Yeah,
But also the funny part of me bringing it up to you, it is I was also like, Rob, it's great. It's only 3 episodes, and after I finished the first one, I was like, oh my god, it's 3 episodes. What do I do?
I remember I was texting you like, are we only watching the first one or what are we doing? You're like, oh, we can watch the whole thing. I'm like, okay, sure. Why not?
And we did. I know it seems like a lot of people, from my research, it seems like a lot of people stopped after the first episode, which is understandable. But I felt like in order for us to get I was actually explaining this to another friend recently. I was like, oh, I'm watching this anime, Boku no Pico, right now. Yeah. And he was like, oh, what's it about? And I was like, well, it's it's basically like a hentai And he was like, "Oh, and so you just want to watch it?" And I was like, "No, I have to." And he was like, "But do you?" And I was like, I don't. I want to see it through. I want to watch to the end. I want to know what happens. I want to know if there's any development in the last 2 episodes, because the first episode, as we spoke of, is just straight up this dude coming to town and then boning this young boy the whole episode.
Yeah, and like it's because he starts dressing him up like a girl at one point. So
Yeah, that was strange.
So no, it just seems like he's a very, very, very down on his luck, really horny dude who's just like boning a young kid.
Really,
sick.
Really earned its 2.2 out of 10 rating on IMDb.
Well, there you go, because this is honestly, this whole thing kind of offends me, because this is the cycle of abuse.
I mean, like, yes, it is the grooming, it is the abuse, but past the subject matter of the show, it isn't even that good anyways.
No,
because it
sucks.
Like, the story is very flat. It doesn't exist.
It's a porn plot.
It's a porn plot, but for 3 episodes, and they change every episode a little bit. The only real constant is PICO.
And they don't change anything. They just add more boys.
They do, which is weird.
And I need to confess something.
Okay, please. Oh my God, I'm worried.
Okay, that's it. I should have phrased that differently. I got like a few minutes into the 3rd episode. Then I saw the 3rd long-haired kid. I stopped watching. I'm like, I know what's going to happen.
So
There's going to be a fucking threesome.
Yes, and there was. The whole time I was thinking, because they did this thing in the show that made me go, "Oh, is that one a girl?" And then 5 seconds later, I was like, "Okay, nope."
There are no girls.
I know, and I was like,
no, there was one girl.
Where? The sister in the 2nd episode.
Yeah, who was touching herself because she.
Yes.
Well, because this is why I was so like kind of appalled by this,
Right.
Because like because this is the first one was just a story of sexual abuse.
Yes.
It was just some 20-year-old guy boning like a young teenager.
Yes.
Then what happens is, or maybe even like not even a teenager, like a preteen. We don't know. Mm-hmm. Then the next episode, fucking Pico winds up in the countryside somewhere.
Like, where did he go?
I don't fucking know.
Did he just wander off? He's just like, the 2nd episode just starts when he's just in a lake out of nowhere. And then this other guy, this boy that he meets, they start playing and
Who's
stuff.
clearly younger than him because he keeps referring to Pico as Onichan.
Yes.
It's like, oh, fuck, this kid's even younger.
Oh, God. And she's going to... not even she. So it's like, this show is a cycle of corruption. Because, like, the guy corrupts Pico. Then Pico corrupts this younger boy. And then the both of them corrupt this long-haired boy in the 3rd one.
And that's the horrifying thing, because this kind of shit happens.
Yes.
Look at fucking serial killers. Like, look at fucking John Wayne Gacy, who was, like, sexually abused. And then he did the same thing to countless boys.
Yes.
So the thing that really got to me here is like, oh, not only is this sick cycle of corruption, this is porn. So the whole point of this was for people to masturbate to it. That's why this was made.
Which is wild.
Yes.
Which is crazy. Also...
Normally we have to draw a line here and say something about, like, culture differences, but, like, no. Okay, yeah, we were rocking a very steady boat this whole show, but I think like that was, in my opinion, that was us putting like the engine on the sailboat, leading us to the correct course. Where it's just like, I understand.
No.
This is just
absolutely
this
not.
is child abuse.
No. It's child abuse. It's child porn. It's fucking crazy. I don't know how this thing got published. I don't know how.
Japan is weirdly enough one of the countries where, like, when it comes to depictions of child porn, that's where it gets a little dicey over there. Not dicey, like, that's where it gets a gray area. Mm-hmm. Because over here we have laws against even depicting a child in porn.
Right.
That actually got. Do you remember XPW, the wrestling promotion?
The wrestling promotion?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what got the owner of that in trouble, because he also ran like a porn company. Mm. And even though his actors were all 18 and over, he would put lines. He would tell them to say like, "Hey, can you just say like fuck me in my 13-year-old ass?" And he'd make the girl say that, and then he got arrested.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh my
God. Like, you know, that's a wild enough story in of itself.
It is.
Go watch
it is.
That Dark Side of the Ring episode on XPW is great.
Wow, I gotta watch that one.
Watch that episode because it's fucking stellar.
Damn, I love Dark Side
But the
of the
whole
Ring.
point being, even in the U.S., in the U.S., you can't even like, and thankfully so, you can't depict someone as a child even if they're not a child. Mm-hmm. Japan is a little weird with that. In anime, you're allowed to get away with this kind of stuff.
Weird.
I mean, because think about it, how many shows have we seen where it's 15-year-old girls with their titties out?
A lot.
A lot.
A lot.
A lot.
A lot.
And it's fucking wildly uncomfortable. And of course, now this is one of the hard things to talk about because, you know, yes, the kids in it are gay, but if it was a straight couple with someone getting molested, I would still think this is disgusting.
Oh yeah, me too. Like
Yeah.
the fact that it was gay doesn't make it any worse.
Exactly.
Or doesn't make it any better.
Exactly.
It's like the same. It's just like this would be bad any way you slice it, really.
No, that's the thing. The whole thing would be appalling any way you slice it. But however, I will say the second episode, it was. Here's the thing. If this first episode, because I asked myself this question.
Yes.
If you forget the first episode exists for a little bit, the second episode is a very different viewing experience.
Mm-hmm. It is a bit different.
Because here's the thing. Can you actually tell a compelling, good story about two young kids exploring themselves and maybe finding out more about their sexuality? You could definitely do that story in an appropriate, non-pornographic context.
Sure.
But then they dressed up in like fucking bikinis and like cow ears and started boning each other in the butt. And I'm like, well, you could have done something sweet and sincere here, but we're not going that route.
It's like it was so randomly fetishized.
The whole thing was super
completely fetishized.
Do you remember this? There's the one scene where, like, you know, because PICO, I keep saying Boku, but no, it's PICO.
PICO, yeah.
Yeah, because literally Boku no Pico means my PICO.
Yeah.
But fucking PICO and the other kid are like in the attic, and they look at one of the slits in the floor, watching like the other kid's older sister start masturbating.
Yes.
Which is very confusing because I'm like, is this for gay men?
What? Who is this for?
Yeah, is this
like,
is this just for men, or is this for straight men?
But like all the boys look like girls.
That's the
thing.
So
like what? I don't understand who is enjoying this right now. Like
hyper fetishistic.
Who's the one?
Honestly,
like it's got to be like for a very very niche group, and it just kind of blew up out of nowhere because everyone was like, "This is insane." Like what?
I think it's one of the things that the Western audience just found like, oh, I'm wildly uncomfortable, which you should be.
Yes. The only character I would like to commend in this whole show is the sister that was masturbating, because honestly, she used a banana and like biodegradable. Good decision for the environment. No plastics. We love that.
She lost the points for me though when she was watching her brother getting fucked in the butt
by another guy
and started masturbating.
Yeah.
Again.
That was a little. See, that was complete porn plot.
Yeah.
Complete porn plot.
Well, that's the thing. This thing is porn. However, funny enough, I did read somewhere.
Yes.
They edited the first episode. They have a different version of it released without the porn. And I'm like, how?
What is it, like 3 minutes?
I don't know what that is.
I counted. There's like 4 sex scenes in the first episode.
Fucking absurd.
What are you going to do with that? What is the show without that?
Exactly.
That's the whole point of the show.
The whole point of the show is porn.
It's a hentai.
Yeah, it is straight up hentai. It's straight up
It is straight
porn.
up hentai. And I just don't, I don't, like I...
How was the third episode?
How was it?
Yeah.
Terrible. It was
I couldn't finish it. I mean,
it was awful.
Yeah, they just showed the third long-haired kid, and I'm like, okay.
You know, let me tell you something. I actually, you know, you didn't finish the third episode, and I skipped around the third episode.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, like anytime they had like a 3-way scene, I was like, okay, we're just gonna fucking just go. And the third character, they were doing this weird storyline with the third character where he was like some like alien guy or something, and he wanted to like he wanted to get to like an antenna or something to communicate with his home world. There was some weird thing about getting to this TV tower in the city and like getting to an antenna to communicate with somebody.
Wait a minute. Were you just like watching this and E.T. at the same time and kind of got confused?
Maybe. I feel like it was. I don't really know. Maybe I'm wrong, but the third episode was very confusing in the fact that there was kind of a plot because they tried to give it a plot, but it just didn't make any sense. So
weird.
I'm kind of pulling teeth here trying to give you an idea of like what it was like. But
threesomes, got it.
Threesomes,
Fine.
Yeah, threesomes the whole time. And
this was horribly offensive and dumb.
It was horribly offensive and dumb. Yeah. Well, I'm not exactly glad we watched it. I think like we could have left it at the first episode, but. Yeah. I wanted to know what was going on in the last two because I imagine a lot of people would watch the first one and be like, "Well, this is deplorable garbage, so I'm not gonna continue."
Yeah.
I said, "Well, this is deplorable garbage. Let's see if it gets worse."
Exactly. No, I completely understand why you stuck through it, and that's kind of why I watched the second one as well.
Yeah.
And the second one is just like the context of the first one is what made the second one so appalling.
Yes. The second one would have been like pretty appalling on its own.
Yeah.
But given the first episode and the events of that, it really carried over and just didn't do it in.
It made it so much worse. Yeah.
It did not do it.
Yeah, it would, cause like the second episode would still be young boys explicitly fucking. It's like, no.
Yes.
even if like there was more, it'd be more consensual or just more like natural in that case. It's still very much no.
I also didn't like that the other boy's name in the second episode is Chico, so it's Pico and Chico. And
fuck everything about this show.
Yeah, I just can't literally fuck everything about this show.
Oh God, yeah.
It just keeps doing it, and I don't know if there's been anything like this since it happened. And
well, I'm sure more porn came out like this, but
right.
None of it captured the Western audience's attention.
I guess.
Yeah,
I'm sure that's the case.
Because I know this.
But how did this get how did this get thrown into the zeitgeist so quickly? I don't know how it got there. Really,
it was just I think a couple people found it somehow, and then I sent you the clip of the one dude freaking out, going, "Don't watch an anime called BOKU."
yeah.
It's like 3 minutes of the guy going, "Yo!" But I couldn't stop watching it. It's like, yes, you can.
Yeah, wait, what do you mean you could stop watching?
There was no compelling story.
I'm sorry, did you mean Boku no Hero Academia?
Oh my.
Oh God. But yeah. I don't know. I mean,
what else do we just say?
What else do we got to say about this?
This is kiddie porn.
We did it though. We watched it. I'm glad that I know what it is now.
Yeah, I'm not really glad we watched it.
Not glad I saw it.
Exactly. Because, shocker, I'm not a fan of watching little boys fuck.
No, definitely not.
I mean, here's the thing. If the second episode happened and both characters were, like, of age, it actually would have been hysterical.
Yes.
Because with, like, the fucking, like, animal costumes.
Yeah, that would have been so funny.
And the sister masturbating.
Right.
Like, that's the point I'm trying to build. Like, the second one didn't have to be offensive, but just given the age of the characters involved, it was offensive.
Yeah. Given the age of everybody involved in the show, it was offensive.
Yeah. Honestly, now, like, if it was Boku and Pico and Chico, teenagers exploring themselves
in like college or something,
it could have been cute.
It could have been fine. Like that would have been fine. Like whatever, like have your time.
It could have been something, but no, these are little boys and clown, like in fucking like cow costumes. Fucking, I'm good.
Yeah. No thanks.
This is bad.
It's bad. Yeah. If you didn't get that from before, it's bad. Yeah.
Can we do something else?
Yeah, let's do something else.
Cool.
Keep drinking.
It's bad.
Wow, oh my god, what a rousing podcast of anime conversation. Am I right, my compares? Am I right, my weebdom? Anywho, yeah, you can send us a message if you want. Did you like this podcast? Did you hate this podcast? Do you want to kill me? Do you want to drench me in Calaxosaur blood and watch me drink it? That's fine. Just send us an email at badanimepod@gmail.com or DM us on our Instagram at badanimepod, all one word. You can also find us on YouTube as Bad Anime, and you could leave a comment on whatever video you want to leave a comment on. We'll read them all anyways. We don't care. I love you. Kiss, kiss.
Simple Equations Podcast Network.